We are joined now by Michael Reagan. And Michael, it's so good to have you back here on Newsmax TV.
It's good to be with you. I love it.
Well, earlier this week, former House Majority Leader Dick Armey made a very bold prediction to me, saying that Republicans will win the House, the Senate, and the presidency in 2012. Do you see a GOP trifecta in the future?
The Senate, I think, is very doable. It's always tough running against the incumbent president, and we have to find the right candidate to run against Barack Obama. Yeah, it's great to sit there and say we're going to have a trifecta. I'd love to have a trifecta, but you've got to work hard to get there. Right now, I'm looking at building this party, hopefully taking back that Senate, and hopefully finding a candidate for the presidency.
Well, what's been President Obama's biggest mistake in office? And in your view, in what ways has he failed Americans? Why does he not deserve a second term?
Well, one of the problems with Barack Obama is some of the problems our own people have. He doesn't listen. Ronald Reagan was a great listener. He listened to everybody, took it in, made his decision. We have a president now who really doesn't listen to anybody. He listens to himself, and he needs a lot of help. And the help that he's put around him has no concept of what to do. I mean, you look at the world that we live in today. You look at the dollar against the euro. You look what's going on in the Middle East. There's no leadership. America, you can't say America needs to take a second position to anybody and put somebody else in charge. My God, France is in charge of what's going on in the Middle East. Give me a break. You need to have America strong. And right now, America is not strong because the leadership is not strong. And that's what we need at the top.
Michael, do you see parallels between the Obama and Carter administrations? And do you think that Reaganomics would fix what ails the U.S. economy today?
Oh, absolutely. But Reaganomics fixed the 20s under Coolidge. Reaganomics fixed the 60s under Kennedy. Reaganomics fixed the 80s under Reagan. Every time it's been tried. When you go the Keynesian way, it's never worked. And it's not working today in the United States of America. Tax breaks. California, for example, they want us to vote to raise our taxes. We didn't. Kept them a little bit lower. They should be, in fact, lower than that. All of a sudden, Brown says, wait a minute, we just got an extra $2 billion in the coffers in California. So now you can have a hard time trying to raise our taxes. Lower taxes means that we're going to pay our taxes. We're not going to cheat, we're going to pay them, and more money is going to go to you. The problem has always been on the spending side of the equation. And interesting enough, when Barack Obama gave his speech the other day talking about what he was going to do, he was going to give us $3 in spending cuts for every dollar in new taxes. That's what he said. I can go back to Ronald Reagan and Tefra in the 1980s. When Bob Dole went to my father and said, listen, Mr. President, the Democrats are going to give us $3 in spending cuts for every dollar in new taxes. Ronald Reagan believed Bob Dole. Bob Dole believed the Democrats. My father died in 2004, still waiting for the $3 in spending cuts. They never seem to get there, but the increase in taxes seems to always get there. And about Barack Obama and Jimmy Carter, he's the only one happy with the Obama administration. It means he will not go down as the worst president this country's ever had. We now have another doer of that deed.
Now, earlier you talked about finding just the right GOP candidate to challenge President Obama, and there's been no shortage of Republicans who have expressed some interest in the presidency. So I'd like to get your thoughts on some of them. Lightning round, if you will.
A lightning round, ready. Okay.
All right. Mike Huckabee.
Mike Huckabee, I don't think is going to run. I think Mike Huckabee just bought a new house in Florida, has a radio show on 500 radio stations. He has a hit television show on Fox. Is Mike Huckabee going to flip a coin and take a maybe against what he is doing financially with Fox and his radio show? I don't think so. I think he'll be a player to help people, but I don't think he's going to run.
What about Mitt Romney?
Mitt Romney needs to learn how to own a room. Mitt Romney knows how to walk into a room, but he hasn't owned the room yet. He's got to learn to be able to deal and talk to people who are at the water cooler, not the person that owns the water cooler. And when he figures that out, he'll be better off, and then he's got to deal with the Obamacare and Romney care and deal with that. If he can get that behind him, he's got a shot.
Sarah Palin?
Sarah Palin doesn't run. Sarah Palin doesn't run because Sarah Palin can't afford to run. Making too much money. If she runs and doesn't win the nomination, the bloom is off the rose. She's no longer viable going out and doing what she does, party building and raising money. She sits back, does not run in this election of 2012. Too close to 2008. Later on maybe, but not in 2012.
What about Mitch Daniels?
Mitch Daniels just showed great leadership, what he did in Indiana, by saying to Planned Parenthood, I'm defunding you. That's leadership. I look at our governors. I think Mitch Daniels could be very good. Mitch Daniels is a great guy, has to learn to really command a room a little bit better than he does. Pawlenty, good guy, needs a little injection of charisma, if you will, has the least amount of baggage of anybody.
What about former Pennsylvania Senator Rick Santorum?
Santorum's going to be remembered right here in Pennsylvania. He was the guy who decided to go with George Bush and endorse the sitting United States Senator against the conservative who wanted to be United States Senator. It cost him his senatorial race way back when. Santorum, good guy, pro-life guy, need more than one issue to win the presidency of the United States.
What do you make of a possible Michelle Bachmann candidacy?
Michelle Bachmann's got to move off the Tea Party. Not away from it, but she's got to embrace more than just the Tea Party people. She sucks the air out of the room, sucks the money with it, does a great job where she is. But her problem is she's got to expand her horizons to have a shot at, say, the vice presidential nomination, not the presidential nomination.
What about Herman Cain?
Herman Cain, pizza in every house.
Okay.
Herman's a good guy, great guy. But again, here's somebody who only has played to the Tea Party. You've got to expand beyond that. It's like if I'm only doing Fox and I'm a candidate and everybody that watches me on Fox votes for me, I'm only going to lose by 57 million votes. I've got to expand past Fox to win the presidency, to win the people. People have to get themselves to find a way to get those Reagan Democrats, find areas of agreement. Ronald Reagan's magic was he found areas of agreement and moved forward. He didn't get caught up in the little stuff. He looked at the big picture and solved it.
So who could be the one for the GOP?
Newt Gingrich is in there, but Newt Gingrich, at this point, does he have more baggage than bags? And so that's a problem for Newt. But I'll tell you one thing. We have a great board of directors. We need to find the chairman of the board. And we find the chairman of the board, we'll win.
Who do you think that could be?
I have no idea who's going to be at this point. Every one of them have work they could do and things they need to learn. First, they need to learn to listen and move forward from there. If they can do that, learn how to command a room, show passion. If you could take some of these candidates to show the passion of Michelle Bachmann, it would upgrade and uplift the males in the race. Sarah Palin, lots of passion. So you got to find passion, be able to tell a story. When I go out and speak, one of the things I say, and I say in my new book, The New Reagan Revolution, Ronald Reagan spoke in parables. Our candidates today speak in sound bites. I want to hear the stories. I want you to draw me in and make me part of a solution to solve the problems, not only in America, solve the problems in the world. And remember this, when my father passed away in 2004, we didn't lose a former president. I didn't lose a father. The world lost a cheerleader. Let's find a cheerleader.
Michael, last question for you. Tell us about the role that you would like your father's legacy to play in the upcoming election.
I think it is wrong for us to look for Ronald Reagan. We are lucky to have him during our lifetimes. But if there is a role, look at who he truly was. That's why I wrote the book, The New Reagan Revolution. Who he truly was. And he was a man who cared about this country. He was a man who loved this country. It was always morning in America with him. I want to find somebody who starts putting out positive messages about America, like Ronald Reagan did. Somebody who was a cheerleader for America. Remember him for who he was. Don't try to redefine him in your image and likeness. Define him in what and who he was. Remember, he was a man who changed the world, but he changed it by building coalitions. Pope John Paul, whose beatification is today. Margaret Thatcher, Mikhail Gorbachev, Tip O'Neill. To do these things, he had to find areas of agreement and move forward. And you also have to remember, you don't always get everything you want right off the bat. You have to work towards an end. Look at politics as a football field. You have to go 100 yards to score a touchdown. 10 yards at a time is okay as long as you score. I'm getting tired of hearing people throwing touchdown passes, and when nobody catches it, they go home. If we don't hang together in the next election, we won't take back the Senate nor the White House, and we'll have 4 more years of our rights being taken away by this administration. We need to find areas where we work together, not apart.
Michael Reagan, thanks so much.
Thank you.